to Chai Chat with Lavina, where we are amongst beautiful flowers in Glass House in Kew, where the Orchid Festival is going on with the India theme. And you saw the lovely flag. And about this flag and the India theme, Nick Johnson, the Glass House manager of Kew, will tell me. Welcome, Nick.
Hello, thank you, and welcome to Kew.
Thank you. Beautiful. How did you create this? What did it mean? What does it mean to maintain it? Tell me all.
So this is around about 4,500 different cut chrysanthemum flowers that we've mounted into individual vials, and then we put it up onto our gold frame for the flag. The centre of the display, actually, the Ashoka wheel in the centre, you can see the white of the Ashoka wheel is actually Ficus religiosa, the Bodhi tree leaf that's skeletonized. So we even put a little bit of India inside the Indian flag.
No, that's fantastic, and that's what we want. So how do you manage to keep this so fresh?
So yes, it's a tricky task. So we have 2 members of staff, and they took 5 days to produce this one piece of the Orchid Festival. But actually, throughout the festival, I'll be getting in new, fresh cut flowers, and in the mornings we'll be replacing some of the flowers so that it will always look at its best.
Oh, so this keeps getting refreshed as well. Oh, fantastic. So India theme, yes? Who thought of it? And tell me more and show me more about the India theme.
So the reason that we're doing an Indian-themed Orchid Festival this year is because it is the year of cultural exchange between India and the United Kingdom. Personally, for me, I've visited India 7 or 8 times in my career, and I absolutely love that country.
Yes.
And it was a real boon for me to be able to produce some displays that would show us our love in this country for everything Indian.
Yes, a whistleblower told us that you've fallen in love with India.
Yes, yes. Looking
it's not
for
very difficult.
No, it's not difficult at all. In fact, it happened within minutes of touching down in Mumbai on my first trip. It was wonderful.
That is quite unusual, but I'll get along with that. So, tell me more stuff of India theme here, and let's go to the stuff then first.
Of course, yes. So.
Yes, take me through to more India stuff, and everything here is just so gorgeous. I can't take my eyes off it.
There's some beautiful colours, isn't there, around in some of the orchids that are on display.
Yes.
So what we've tried to do is to source plants that their natural relatives come from the Indian subcontinent, or at least from Southeast Asia. Yes. So we have Phalaenopsis, which is the moth orchid. We have Vanda, which comes from the eastern Himalayas.
Oh, wow.
We have some other really interesting orchids like Psychopsis and Dendrobium. Dendrobium, of course, you may know is a popular Indian orchid. Yes. Here in front of you, you can see our pond display. This is what we're calling the Sansara cone. And the reason that it's like it is taken as inspiration from my travels in India, where whenever I travel in India, in everywhere that you go, you have this positivity that surrounds you. And people always say to you, in India, anything is possible.
It is. You have to make it possible.
Absolutely, but and that central tenet is what we wanted to kind of show in floral form. So we tried to make something that was almost impossible. So this is a 3-meter tall cone that sits on one point, just on the water. It looks almost impossible. There's about 1/4 of a ton of flowers on this one display.
Wow, and it's just small little cone.
It's sitting on a 5-centimeter point.
Ooh, so anything is possible.
Anything
Even
is
impossible
possible.
says I'm possible.
Even in Kew Gardens.
So all this this curating that you have done of India is your inspiration?
No, we had the Indian communities, the London Indian communities came in, and they gave us some of their inspirations as well. So we showed them, excuse me, some of the plants that we were going to use, some of the designs that we were thinking about back in last July, and they started to come up with ideas for us. So, for instance, in one of our hanging Vanda displays, they suggested, why don't you put an Indian marriage swing amongst that?
India, if you talk about, you have to talk about marriage.
Absolutely.
Isn't it? So
Yes.
let's go to the marriage swing now.
Let's go.
Show me
Let's
the marriage
go.
swing. Can I sit on it?
No, unfortunately not.
We'll find out why.
There's someone else on the marriage swing already.
Already?
Yes.
Let's find that out. And there is a langur too, who's very rightly so looking away from the marriage swing.
He's very, he's very curious about what's going on here, and he is again made completely from flowers and vegetation.
Yes, because I saw some elephants on the way as well, and peacock.
Yes.
We saw peacock, and the viewers can see peacock now on the screen, I think. So let's walk towards the marriage swing where the langur is very rightly so not looking. But we're going to look. Go on then. Oh, there you are. How can I ever conceive of sitting there? Actually, some swings of marriage are not for everyone, isn't it?
Yes, it's more the symbolism of the marriage swing that we were hoping to recreate here, and that's really a representation of love and respect that marriage brings to us, and there is this same love and respect for the environment, the natural environment, and for orchids that you find throughout our country and throughout India, I think.
Yes. And when you talk of India, you do have to bring marriage in, isn't it?
Yes, very true.
Let's,
very true.
So tell me, Nick, how many volunteers have been working on this? What hours are you doing?
So during the build of this festival, we marshalled around about 90 people to put it together. We worked for approximately 1,700 hours to bring this festival together. And because we're dealing with living things with plants, we have to do things in a very fast way. We can't have plants sitting in boxes or in corridors not getting light. So as soon as a delivery comes in, we have to get them up and into the glass house and in their position. So in some cases, we have worked 7 or 8, 9 days on the trot without a break to try to make sure that we get them looking their best for the festival.
That's lovely. And you have had a lot of volunteers working with you, isn't it?
Yes.
So let's take us through to one of the...
we have around about 600 volunteers in Kew Gardens that work for us. Some of the volunteers are really specialised, one of whom, a guy called Henk, who's Dutch. He comes in just to help in the festival, and he's a master florist.
My God, from Holland.
He lives in Britain, but he's from Holland, and he
yes.
comes in just so that he can help with some of the flower arranging that we do in the festival.
They have a love for tulips, don't they?
Absolutely.
Holland is all about
However,
flowers.
also orchids. They love orchids. They love orchids.
So let's meet by another Indian relic in Kew Garden.
Okay.
Can we imagine any city without a rickshaw? Nick, you've been to India. Can we imagine any city without a rickshaw?
Well, we're copying India in some ways, in that we do actually have rickshaws in London now as well.
Yes. And you have been inspired here with it. It's lovely, all that. I'm very sad I can't ride it. But I have here with me Charlotte. Charlotte, you're studying to display all these things and what to do with the glass house.
Yes.
And what have you done here? What has been the Indian idea in your head?
Well, we've brought a lot of orchids from around the world to bring together the amazing colours of India to inspire people when they come in. I'm not sure if you've seen, we have a big Indian flag made of flowers.
Nick took me to the flag and told me all about the thousands of flowers used there, yes?
Yeah, but we just wanted to bring some kind of images of India alive as an example, using the rickshaw, and just beautiful flowers, yeah.
And the elephant
Yes.
behind me. Huh?
And the elephant, yes.
So have you done anything in this elephant which has been your idea? Exquisite.
No, I worked with our great team on this elephant, and we've got some very special orchids that we acquired at Kew recently, and we covered the elephant in Tillandsia, which is Spanish moss.
And how many sleepless nights have you had?
A few, but luckily we have such great people working and studying at Kew, and the amazing volunteers who helped put this together, that we didn't have many sleepless nights. Yeah.
It's a monumental effort from
Really is.
many people. It's a huge team effort. Everyone comes together for the Orchid Festival. And it's wonderful to be able to be inspired by the Indian kind of ness of this whole
thing. Now I want to ask both of you one thing. If we just squeeze in here so that she's. What was the most challenging and the most rewarding relic or the piece that you have created here?
That's a very good question.
The Indian.
That is a good question.
Anything.
I think also just caring for the orchids to create all the pieces, because a lot of them, we would receive them and then they were wrapped in blankets and in their boxes, and they can't get cold because otherwise they're kind of like humans that got sick, and then they, in the worst case scenario, would lose their flowers. So it was really kind of rallying together to keep the orchids happy and protect them so they got here in a good condition, and then we could make them into these beautiful displays that last.
I like the way you said that they get sick. So the human element
that's
of
very
that, and that's
human.
what is there in Hinduism as well, isn't it? They have, plants have soul.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
which you have displayed here
Yes.
as well. Nick, what is it? Because you have been, I think, the Indian inspiration here with all your love for India. What is the one piece which is either challenging or your favorite or the most, whatever you want to choose from? The elephant, the peacock, the rickshaw, the flag?
I think the main pond display is where I
5 centimeter one.
the 5 centimeter
Yes.
point that that's sitting on. Yes, that for me, even though it's not a temple scene or a rickshaw or something tangible that's Indian. For me, it represents the whole soul behind India. That fact that anything is possible in India. That's where my inspiration came.
Oh, fantastic. The essence of India, the soul of India, which is anything is possible. And this exhibition in the Kew Garden is on till the 5th of March. So please enjoy, isn't it? You want to sell it one more time? Why should people come?
But also, yeah, that not only should they come during the day, but there's also evening events as well. So we have these incredible evening do's where we have some bars, we have beautiful lighting, we have an amazing live Indian band that's playing. And we have yoga classes, we have cookery classes, there is talks about Ayurvedic medicine in the glass house, all after dark. So it's a wonderful opportunity to see Kew in a completely different light.
And how long does it go on for? Till what time?
Every Tuesday and Thursday through the entire month of February, you can reserve a ticket and come in and see the glass house at night.
Of course, and song and dance, and I hope you
Yes.
give Golgappas.
Oh
too?
yes, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
Golgappas here too. I have to come in the evening as well, so Chai Chat is going to be here in the evening as well. Thank you very, very much, both of you. Exquisite, impossible made possible in the Kew Garden Glass House. You can come here till the 5th of March from morning to night, be here, enjoy the beauty of orchids in the Indian form and also the song, dance and music. How do you like this episode? Please Twitter me at Lavina Tandon or give your feedback on chaichat@ashtak.com. Thank you for tuning in and see you next week. God bless.